Her eyes. Friends offer college backbenchers. Serial number 25, said the professor. Present, sir, she sang. Finally. That voice, I sighed. The rest of the roll call passed in a blur, as his voice still echoed in my head. This is what love does to you. Even the simple things that are taken for granted start gaining great importance. Yes, this humble guy named Shekhar has fallen in love with his dream girl, Swati. I'm an average desi looking guy, and he's a shade dark, an inch tall, and wears contacts. The first time I saw him, the physics professor asked him to move to the front bench from the end because he looked confused. As luck would have it, she happened to sit next to the most innocent-faced guy in class. Yes, you guessed it, really. As enthusiastic a student as I was, still am, I didn't pay attention to who sat next to me, especially when class was in full swing. So, what are the two types of charge carriers in a doped semiconductor? Asked our gentleman. Before I could say electrons and holes, sir, Swati shouted, and sir was impressed. Me too. Finally I looked at the girl whose reactions were faster than mine, which had gone unnoticed till now. And then it happened. Our eyes meet. Her eyes. I still remember looking deep into his eyes. They were black, and there was a shimmer in them, and something deep, yet soothing. I saw myself reflected in that dark lake of peace. Then something changed. I could feel it. Long forgotten, lost, suppressed feelings started awakening inside me. For a moment I felt weak. This old familiar feeling made my chest quiver. Love. This was it? Did it hit me again, a second time? As I swam in a sea of emotion, the professor's shrill voice rang out. Shekhar, where are you looking? Looks like someone helped you, followed by laughter from the backbenchers. My cheeks turned red, and the rest of the class freaked out. My mind, however, was in a completely different place. I wanted to see those eyes, get to know them, and the person they were, the proud owner. Little did I know at that time that my wish would come true sooner than I thought. Right after class, he again went to the last bench, as if drawn by a magnet. In this case, it was his friend, and yes, they were my friends. He was speaking in Telugu, I would find out later. She was smiling, and her eyes, my gosh, were smiling even more. Here I was, a Bengali boy, deeply in love with the eyes of a girl who didn't even recognize me. My luck. Later that day, I finally mustered up enough courage to go up to her, waking her up from her slumber with her earphones on. Instead of showing signs of annoyance, he gave a simple smile and I sat down next to him. Then our chat started. North Indian, Hindi language, movies, junk, and spicy food, and his love for jeans. Wait, jeans, what's so good about them? They are so common. I trailed off, and my eyes fell on what she was wearing, a simple salwar kameez. I got it. Yeah, in my house dad doesn't let me or my younger sister wear jeans. He doesn't like fashionable things. You know, Shekhar, I secretly did an online fashion designing course in B Tech, and about that nobody knows. This, he said. I felt excited, as she shared something personal with me, a person she had just met 10 minutes ago. I was her secret carrier, and I couldn't help but appreciate his desire to do something he was forbidden to do. That's radical, Swati. I didn't know there was a little rebel hiding behind that smile, I said. Hearing these words, her eyes watered a little, just a blink of an eye, and you will remember it, but something was there. I felt it. I knew it. So, thus, ends our casual first day encounter. Back in my dorm room, the evening passed quietly into the night, and I fell into a deep sleep excited to see her. I was not disappointed. 3 weeks have passed since our meeting. Swati and I were sitting in a corner of the campus garden listening to Tum Hi Ho, one earpiece in my left ear, the other in her right ear. It was time for a lunch break, and we quickly finished our lunch to enjoy the music. So, we sat side by side there in the garden. I was stopping the song after each line, translated it into English, and explained to him what it meant. He wants to learn more and more Hindi. She told me earlier that she studied Hindi for 4 months during her graduation, but was still weak in speaking and listening skills. तेरा मेरा रिश्ता है कैसा माने तुम्हारे और मेरा रिश्ता है एक पारदर्शी सुगवारा ना एक पॉल भी की नहीं की सकता है next. Wow, this song is so amazing. Swati interrupted before I could finish myself. Yeah, this song is not exactly a love song. It's really soulful, I explained. Going to the next line. Thus, I recited the entire song just in time to attend the next lecture, when the lunch break was over. Dear brother, I really want to spend all my time translating all the romantic songs for her, and not attend these boring master's level lectures. We're in class, but I had little interest. How can I be my muse, my disciple, my life partner, was sitting on my right, on my left. Yes, he is not a backbencher anymore. I must admit, as frontbenchers, Swati and I did a pretty good job of fooling the professors. From the outside, everyone is serious, but in fact, the least attention is paid to this topic. I couldn't wait for class to end. In between, I gave him water, as he did not have a water bottle. That's what I am, an Aquarius, both star and nature, a water bearer. For some inexplicable reason, I started taking care of her in a simple way. It became his habit to remind him to drink water. I was shocked and turned to see Swati showing me something written on the back of her notebook. Should I or not? I muttered. Alright, so here is the next song with music from our language study class. I looked at her, and there those eyes were, hopeful, romantic, and mysterious. My internal Hindi translator was already running, faster than Google, churning out the English phrases of this song, which I clearly remembered. Okay, Shona, I said. Wait, did I just tell him to listen? What's was? Oh God, that's a bit much. Maybe. I don't know, I'll talk about it later. The rest of the class went with the occasional cat by our name, as we were a sort of possessive quasi couple. Other than that, nothing really happened. Slowly, but surely, my feelings blossomed into an absolute love for him. Every song I translated for him was like I was explaining my feelings to him. Days passed, and months passed with all the assignments, project work, and exams. In the midst of all this busy work, we still create our own happy musical hours. His endless desire to explore and learn music, and my constant desire to give it my all. I was his teacher, who fell in love with his own student. I think he has also felt my feelings. Only time will tell. My feelings were getting heavy. My soul was panting for love to flow from me to her. I wanted to know what she thought of me and whether she would reciprocate my love. So I did just that. One afternoon, a very ordinary day, I reached out to her. Swati, I have something to say for a while, I said. What, Shekhar? She asked. I love you, Swati. It turned out sharp, flat, and just like that. We were sitting there on the bench, like two peas in a pod, and I proposed to her. I was expecting her to say yes and no at the same time. Wait, did that exist? Shekhar, give me some time, she guessed, and somewhere far away, in the reach of space inside the heart, a supernova of love and expectation erupted in many colors. I said okay, but deep down I was glad she would at least think about it. It is better not to be direct, which I faced in my school a few years back. Still, I secretly believed that his response was positive. I was really hoping because anything other than that would be disastrous for me. That night, I slept restlessly. The next day would be the beginning of a new phase of my life, which was my dream. Swati was absent in the first half of the next day. It was strange because he didn't do it unless there was something really urgent that was stopping him. Every few seconds my eyes raced toward the door, hoping to meet those familiar eyes. His whereabouts were not known till lunch. As I was leaving the classroom to eat my lunch, I heard a familiar voice calling my name. I turned, and there she was, my angel. Although this time his eyes were empty. The animation I had become accustomed to was no longer there. I thought about you, about us, and I'm sorry, Shekhar, we can't be together. She trailed off. I couldn't immediately understand his words, but the tsunami had already hit and shattered everything I had built with so much love and care. To say I was shocked and hurt would be a gross understatement. My heart is broken into pieces. My eyes welled up, and tears welled up as if to douse the flames of anguish in my heart, which they failed to do. Luckily, the classroom was empty for us and I strained my voice and said, "But why, Swati? Why? Things have been great for us, haven't they? You know I love you for sure, right? You were always so close to me, so why am I begging you?" I said. Because I am already in love with one Shekhar. He works in Mumbai, and I have known him for over 2 years, says Swati. But you didn't tell me these things before, Swati. This is all new to me. Why you? How can you do this to me? I cried. Look, Shekhar, to be honest, you were never my type. I don't mean to be rude, but we're not compatible, never have been. She was adamant. You mean the time we spent together was a pastime for you? What were we really doing then? I felt we were getting closer, I pleaded. Look, Shekhar, frankly, you came into my life when Suresh and I couldn't talk because we had a violent fight. You had made a place in my heart, but over time I was trying to find my Suresh in you, and it felt wrong. Since you proposed to me yesterday, it seems wrong to lead you on, so let's end it here. Shekhar, from now on we are just classmates, nothing more. I'm sorry. I hope you understand. He turned and walked out, not only out the door but out of my life, never to return. Then I lost my appetite. Was I feeling hollowed out, cheated, and used, or was it because I was expecting too much? For the second time in my life, my love was in the wrong place. Why? Why does this always happen to me? I felt like a trauma victim, but I had to join in because the world is always ready to make fun of lost, broken lovers like me. Back in the room, I started thinking about everything. As things slowly started to come into focus, I couldn't help but laugh at my own stupidity. Her love for all things North Indian, her desire to master Hindi, and all her little quirks are more for her boyfriend and less for her, and absolutely nothing about me. I was just an instrument, a bridge he was building to cross, to be comfortable with his love. Now that bridge is burnt. The chaotic feelings of the heart were buried in the ashes of this burnt bridge. I was a nomad, lost in this vast jungle. I ran to the lake of love, only to find it a mirage. Even electrons and holes reconnect at some point, but now we are parallel lines, never to be seen again. All dreams of being together were taken away by someone I hated, but when are things fair in love and war? I put on the headphones and started playing the songs that were a good fit between Swati and me. Arijit's voice came to calm my soul. Sun raha hai na tu, ro raha hu main. Yes, I was crying, but no one was listening. Only my pillow knew that it was wet with tears. I didn't know how the rest of the semester would go. Clumsiness was a casual mask that needed to be worn. As I thought of all this, sleep embraced me, and the last thing I remembered was those bright, mesmerizing, beautiful eyes before everything turned black. Black, like dark night outside, and emotion inside. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe my channel.